Namaskar, I'm Varun Singh and we are back on the second part of our episode Saving Mumbai, where with me is veteran housing and urban development expert Chandrashekhar Prabhu ji. So, in the last conversation, we spoke mostly about the problems that the government, the problems that the builders create, and how immaterial which party is in government or who the builder is, unka kaam chalta hai. They are able to do things.
Let me complete where I left in the last this thing. So I was trying to say that we went to all those who matter and got a scheme approved. The finance ministry cleared the money and sanctioned 20,000 crores for a 40,000 crore scheme, which would have solved the problems of 7.5 million people. And not only that, the Prime Minister, who was then, who is an economist in his own right, felt that that would solve Mumbai's problem, and the Finance Minister then did it. The Planning Commission approved of it. The scheme remained, and when we conjured this artificial conjuration of 1,80,000 crore worth metro, out of which obviously 80,000 crores goes as kickbacks, because all the equipment that you are buying and things like that, you take money. This is 50-50 Sarkar, where 50% of the development money goes into the pockets of the ones who give the contracts. I would have understood, you are spending 1,80,000 crores for the metro, good. But at least spend this 40,000 crore and let the lives of those who go by normal train be good. And then for those who want premium, set up the metros. One is not against metro. One is only saying what the priority is. If I earn 50,000 rupees a month, then I have to budget for it. I have to decide what goes where. If I earn 100,000 rupees a month, then I have to budget for it. Then I have a bit of luxury. If I earn 2 lakhs a month, then I know that I can even go to a Taj Mahal hotel for a cup of coffee. So, depending on how much money I have, when you don't have that kind of money and you are borrowing, the state government is 6,80,000 crores in the red. In fact, we are paying more interest on the money that we have borrowed than the salaries. Soon a situation will come where payment of salary, we won't have money. So, in that kind of a situation, these kind of network of metros, just announcement of them, is that a correct thing to do? Is something which I leave to the audience to think as to what it is. Now, just one thing about transportation and then we move towards housing. Everyone wants to take the credit of coastal road. Everyone wants to take the credit of the Trans Harbour and the Sea Link. Very few people want to give credit to the original this thing. Where did all this come from? Did it come from someone's brain? One politician said that he had this in his dreams, and in his dream he saw the Sea Link or something. Do you know that a person called Wilbur Smith, who was responsible for doing the connectivity through the sea in New York, was invited to Mumbai in the 70s. And he prepared a note on Mumbai wherein all these measures, J.R.D. Tata in the 70s suggested the connectivity from Colaba to Alibag, that is Revas, Mandwa to Colaba. It was J.R.D. Tata and his team of people. The Nava Sheva to Mumbai Shivdi was suggested a little before J.R.D. Tata, by a team which was headed by Charles Correa and Shirish Patel. Now, everyone says that suddenly, they are doing, because someone can go to Bangladesh and say that I was involved in the Bangladesh freedom struggle. I don't know whether he was selling tea or going for freedom struggle all at the same time. But in a country where these things can happen, people can take credit for things which they have nothing to do.
So almost every politician takes credit. Of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
So that's not.
Yeah, but
REA.
but the question is, you should give credit to the person. It was Wilbur Smith's scheme. And to look at Coastal Road, it was a committee headed by Subodh Kumar, of which I was the technical person. And we actually authored it. When I was in the MMRDA, the Trans Harbour Link alignment was drawn out and the original papers have my signature. I've never asked for credit, neither will I ever do it, because we were doing everything as a part of a team for the city. It is not an individual. I mean, someone who happens to be in power when he cuts the ribbon doesn't become it's like looking at a bulb and saying, oh, I thought about it before Edison did. So Edison invented the bulb, but I bought a bulb and I would say, no, Edison to kuch nahi tha, ye to maine hi kiya. So please understand that whatever the politicians say of different hue and shades, I don't belong to any political party, so I have no brief for any political party for them or against them. But the level at which lies are being thrown at us, especially during the election time, one gets tempted to nail the lies of politicians of different parties and different shades. So common man should understand the thing. So whether it is transportation, whether it is environment, Mumbai has only 0.3 acres per 1,000 population of open spaces, which is the lowest in the world. Take Mumbai as 425 square kilometers, out of which 90 square kilometers, roughly 88.9 square kilometers goes for airport. 100 odd kilometers go for the Sanjay Gandhi National Park. And a huge section of land which is vacant between Manori, Gorai and Mud Island was kept under no development zone. Now they want to bring it under development, which would be disastrous. But still, leaving only 156 acres for development. And the Bombay Port Trust's land from Kulaba onwards to Wadala is not available for development. So if you remove all these, out of the 425 acres of land, what is available for development is 156. And in 156 acres of 156 square kilometers out of 425 square kilometers, in 156 square kilometers, we have 1.2 crore people. That is 12 million people living in 156 square kilometers, which is the highest density found anywhere in the world. There is no place in the world which has only 20 degrees of growth possible. There is no place in the world which is surrounded on all sides by sea, where growth is possible in the form of an isosceles triangle. There is no city in the world which has within its municipal limits a national park which has 56 wild cats, leopards. There is no city in the world which has a beautiful 10-kilometer beach, which now is going to be destroyed by the sea link from Mud Island onwards till Gorai. But what is left for housing is so little that we live in claustrophobia all the time. We are the only city which lives like that. Just a stray example, please go and stand outside any railway station and watch the people coming to the railway station and go. This was told to me by a senior psychiatrist. You will see the people who are coming to the railway station either by auto rickshaw or by walking or by scooter or by bus, talking to themselves. This is serious. I have noticed it. I have taken shots of it. My students have done research on it. Because we are in a claustrophobia, the thin line between speaking to an individual and speaking to oneself is so blurred that many of us, when talk to one's own self animatedly, the voice doesn't come out, but you are seeing the person mutter, which is a psychological problem in a claustrophobic condition. Most of us are subjected to that without realizing, because we don't have counseling facilities and the poor don't. My driver murmurs to himself all the time. Earlier I thought there was something wrong with him. But now I realize that it is not him to blame, it's the system which is to blame. We have created a system of claustrophobia where every individual is going, and this is going to increase. So, look at the situation. We did a survey of the city to decide what is adequate shelter and what is inadequate shelter. Adequate shelter means adequate space, adequate infrastructure like water supply, drainage, electricity, sewerage, adequate infrastructure, adequate space, adequate infrastructure, adequate means of breathing, that is good air, adequate access to transportation, and adequate means of livelihood. These are 5 things which make adequate shelter. So we checked in Mumbai, and you would be shocked, 97.8% do not have adequate shelter. Let's see how. 7 million people, 70 lakh people live in slums. Can you call that adequate shelter? No. 1.2 million people cannot afford slum. Where do they stay? They stay on the footpaths, out of which 5 lakh people, that is 500,000 people, are migrant people. They are on one footpath today, they will not be there. They are on another footpath, they are on third footpath. They keep on changing their houses. They don't have an address, they don't have a place to go. Then 2.5 million people are tenants in 16,800 old and dilapidated buildings, out of which 82% are in single room or double room tenements where toilets are common. You call them chawls, and they are all in the island city. Can you call them adequate shelter? No. So 7 million plus 1 million, 8 plus 2.5 million. From the remaining, you have Mada colonies, 1 million people living in Mada colony, where Mada has given them just 1 bedroom hall kitchen, 400 square feet, 300 square feet. The families have increased and it's inadequate. And then there are people who have bought from the builder, but their capacity to buy from the builder is not enough to take care of adequate shelter for their family. There is no space. So those of us, maybe like me, who have adequate space, who could afford it by virtue of your being enterprising, you're being qualified, you're taking education abroad, or whatever be the reason, are in a minuscule minority. So if you ask 100 people in the city that if you meet God, what is the one thing you will ask? I don't think they would take even 5 seconds to say, give me a house. Because that's the demand for everybody, because nobody has a house. So that much demand. And how many houses do we create every year? Can anyone make a guess? 26,500 at its best. So with a demand of 15 million houses, a supply of 26,000, the need is 200,000 houses every year for the next 10 years. The supply is only 25,000 houses.
So, sir, sorry to interrupt you, but then how do you build it? By giving extra FSI?
No, this has happened because you have given extra. That is the problem. That is the problem. That's where expert advice should become. This is what the politicians say. Where is the space? Give more FSI. This is typical politician builder nexus solution to Mumbai's problem, which is responsible for destruction of Mumbai. So what do? Island City had FSI of 1.33. Suburb had an FSI of 1. So 1 FSI was increased to 2, then increased to 3. Today, an average suburban building is entitled to between 2.7 and 3.5 FSI. That means one building, above that another suburb, above that the third suburb. You are putting 2 suburbs above the existing suburb. This is what you are doing. Then what are you doing with the island city? 1.33 FSI, 4 FSI and 16,800 buildings have unlimited FSI. Today, I can give you 25 examples today of 23 to 24 FSI which has been given in Mumbai, which is the highest anywhere in the world. Gross manipulation. Why is this so? This is so because the builders bribe us into believing that the only way out is to increase the FSI. Let's take an example of a slum. Rehabilitation. 1 square feet for the slum dweller gives me 1 square feet for sale. I'll make it very simple. The 1 square feet for a slum dweller to construct costs about 2,500. The 1 square feet for sale costs about 3,500. Both put together is 6,000 rupees. In 6,000 rupees, I get 1 square feet to sell. Now, my other expenses, my investment, my good returns on my investment, all things considered, my cost should be, say, 7,000 rupees per square feet, 8,000 rupees per square feet. But how much does the builder sell? In Dahisar, at 18,000 rupees per square feet. In Borivali, at 22,000 rupees a square feet. In Andheri, at 30,000 rupees a square feet. In Vileparle, at 40,000 rupees a square feet. In Bandra, at 55,000 rupees a square feet. In Mahim, at 60,000 rupees a square feet. In Worli, at 1,50,000 rupees a square feet. The law is the same. So who gets the money? I'll give you one true example of what has happened. This is true. The building exists. In Tardev, there is an MP Mills compound. Nothing to do with MP Member of Parliament. It's Manikji Petit Mills compound. Mills closed down, slums came. 4,000 slum dwellers lived in that. Now some builder gave a scheme for 4,000 slum dwellers that I will give them free houses under the slum scheme. Who owned the land? You and I. the taxpayer. We owned the land. The public, the citizens of India owned the land. Given the land to a builder free of cost, without anything. Now he is supposed to build houses for the slum dwellers. How much square feet? 16 lakh square feet he will build for the slum dwellers. In return, he will do amenities, he will build a police station, he'll build some houses for police and so on. So in return, he will do so much, so he's getting 20 lakh square feet for sale. Now by his own admission, not my admission, his own admission, he has sold 1 square feet for 75,000 rupees per square feet. So 20 lakhs into, it's the tallest building, the twin towers.
One of the tallest buildings in Mumbai.
Yeah, 85.
Yes.
Presently the tallest, till someone else overtakes him. Presently a building which is occupied, that is the tallest, it's a twin tower. So 20 lakh square feet into 75,000 rupees per square feet admitted by him. According to me, he may have taken much more than 75,000, but assuming he is telling the truth and he has taken 15,000 crores. Now let us examine what his cost would be. 16 lakh square feet to be built for the slum dwellers. The quality of construction is abysmal. The buildings are still there. Anybody can go there and see the buildings. They have not even completed 10 years of age, and the buildings are so old that they require redevelopment. So taking the highest possible at 3,000 rupees per square feet, then it was 2,000, but taking today's price at for 16 lakh square feet at 3,000 rupees a square feet, 450 crores. Okay. The sellable area 20 lakhs square feet, taking at 5,000 rupees a square feet, 6,000 rupees a square feet, which is gross exaggeration. L&T or Tata Construction also doesn't take that kind of money. But even if we take 5,000 rupees a square feet, it comes to 20 lakhs into 5,000, 1,000 crores. 1,000 crores and 450 crores. So the project becomes 1,500 crores. Add to that another 500 crores of money given to people for transit, this, that and the other. So 2,000 crores. Add to that bribes given to politicians, maybe 2,500 crores. Add to that money given for those who, lend finances, 2,500 crores. Where is 15,000 crores? The state of Maharashtra is reeling under losses of 6,80,000 crores. And government of Maharashtra land is being given to a private developer to make a profit of 10,000 crore or 15,000 crores. So now you know that the builders become fatter and the government becomes thin. The taxpayer is cheated.
To just add to what you said, I am dead against free housing. I also do not endorse free housing for slum dwellers. But do you think, have the governments all, since it has been for 20-25 years when we have started talking about SRS, Slum Rehabilitation Scheme, where free houses are being given. It was 160 square feet earlier, now it has gone to 300 square feet.
Yeah, it came, when did it come?
1995.
Who brought it? Manoj Joshi. Who did the first 10 schemes? Manoj Joshi's own company.
Okay.
So they did it for themselves.
Absolutely. I'm not denying that. I'm saying every politician, as you mentioned about coastal road.
I'm not on that. I'm saying give the free house. Even then, you are selling your state to the builders. The bureaucrat doesn't understand how much is the cost of construction. The cost of construction is 2,000 crores. If the project is 2,000 crore, give him 1,000 crore profit, 1,500 crore profit. 2,000, why should you give him 10,000 crore profit? Because you are all partaking in the loot.
Absolutely, that is what I'm saying. The policy where it is being made. It is being made in a way that it benefits almost the bureaucrat, the politician, because you know how every file is passed.
So this policy, this
how
is
do we
about
change it?
this is about the slum. Coming to old and dilapidated building, it's still worse.
33.7.
33.7. It's still worse. Mada colony, it's still worse. It's all catering to a builder to make money. Getting a house for the original inhabitant is only a coincidence.
Okay. Agreed.
It's only कि भाई उसको भी देना है तो दे देंगे. Amongst from 95 onwards till today, we are 30 years down the line. In 30 years, in 5 years, you were supposed to build 1 million, 10 million houses total. You have not made more than 200,000, that is 2 lakh houses, out of which 60,000 houses are on open lands. That means you have just built 1,20,000 houses, out of which 50% have sold and gone.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. Free housing is not the solution.
So a scheme can be made. Have you ever asked the slum dweller what he wanted? You have not asked him because he is immaterial. He is not required to talk about what he wants. What you are doing is what you want to get from the builder. So builder and politician and bureaucrat are deciding the scheme, and slum dweller either has to accept it or be thrown out. So that is slum dwellers. Mada housing, similarly. Old and dilapidated cessed building, similarly. So what I have done is, I have turned the scheme on its head. I have said, okay, you have made the scheme for whom? For the builder. Now I have trained the society. I said, yes, we are the builders. So you say, sorry, no outside builder, we are the builders. So if there is any profit, we will get it. Now everyone doesn't know how to react to that. I'll give you 2 examples of I've completed 20 self-redevelopment projects. Chitra Society in Chembur,
the first one,
had 400 square feet. All builders promised them 510 square feet. They came to me. I explained the self-redevelopment. They have completed the building. They are already staying in the building. Each one of them is getting 1,250 square feet.
From
400.
Yes.
Free. Plus, they are getting, because they have made one flat, depending on what the family size is, out of this 1,200, he may keep 800 for him, have 400 separate. He may keep 600 for him, keep 600 separate. That he gives on rent. Earns 40,000 rupees every month. So he gets a pension of 40,000 rupees for lifetime, and the house is free. So that money which the builder would have looted him and taken away, he has got.
But so, sounds interesting. And as I have covered real estate for 2 decades now, for me, it has been always a question of, it intrigues me. Basically, how does a project be self-redeveloped, self-financed? और फाइनेंस कहाँ से आता है? पैसे तो बहुत जरूरी है. How do housing cooperative society members who are mostly middle class?
Go and ask them. It is the middle class who has financed all the
How do they finance it?
Let me complete first.
Yes.
Let me complete another story. In Mulund, Purvaranga Society,
yes,
had 380 square feet, are getting 1,100 square feet. Now, how do you finance? Whatever you are getting free, you are getting free. You don't have to spend a penny. Somebody wanting to buy over and above that, buy. You don't buy it from outside, you buy it from your own society. How do you buy? Whatever is the selling price, I give you 30% discount. If 20,000 rupees per square feet is to be sold, you get it at 14,000. You don't have to shell out 14,000. I go to the bank, give you home loan for 14,000. you only have to pay 20% of that 14,000 rupees
The down payment.
down payment. That down payment goes towards getting plans approved.
Okay.
The moment I get plans approved, I register with RERA and then I get bookings. From the bookings, I complete my entire project and whatever is the surplus comes to me.
But so, when a builder comes in, we always have this thing that he has a team who does this thing. For example, there are licensing architects who goes and handles everything at the BMC. There are architects who handles the planning. There are PMCs who handles other things. There would be a contractor. There would be a labor contractor. There would be the contracts are taken on shell. Their contracts are taken on final fit out and locks. Yeah. So how does this thing come into play? Because
same. You have answered your question on your own. The same liaison architect did the liaisoning for my buildings because he has to work. Whether he works for a builder and gets plans approved or he works for a society, it doesn't matter to him as long as his fees are paid. The architect who does plans for the builder does plans for us. The PMC who does the construction supervision for them does it for us. The contractor who does the work for builder, and they are all happy. They are not happy with the builder's situation because he cuts corner, gives them the wrong this thing. Here we supervise and buy the material, so the quality of construction is assured. So we are doing things much better than what a builder are doing. So we get more area, better quality construction, better planning, better amenities, timely construction, because we want our houses. Builder delays the thing because every day delayed, the prices increase. We don't want
to. So where does the initial finance come in from?
I just told you.
No, the down payment is something that comes later when there are people interested in buying.
No. My down payment comes day one. Before I decide to make the plan, I go to the audience and say, here is the slip. This is what you are getting free. How many of you want more area? So they write to me. I say, okay. I give their details to the bank, get home loan approved. Now their 20% they have to pay. If they don't have that 20%, then it's okay. Then they cannot buy the surplus area. That 20% comes to 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs each. Now that 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs also they don't have to pay down. They have to give us the share certificates if they have shares in their names. They have to give the bank fixed deposit receipts if they have fixed deposit in the bank. And we pledge that and take overdraft on that. That's it.
But there are multiple banks which want to lend money for self-redevelopment.
Yes.
Do you think that's a good idea to take money from them?
If necessary. In my schemes, I try and avoid taking funding from any financial institution unless absolutely necessary.
But, you think and you suggest that if self-redevelopment starts taking place, there would be not many builders into the play. I don't see that happening.
No. Builders have their own, because builders' job is cheating the people. So people cheating. You say that if there are police on every police station, there won't be pickpockets. There will be pickpockets because pickpockets business is there and they will be there. So we are not grudging them their business. We are saying those who are intelligent, brilliant, good, go to builders. Those who are dumb, don't understand, come to us. We will help you and we will get you more than what a builder can.
Then it brings back me to my main question once again, that from where we started. If the developers, mostly the builders, as you say, are corrupt, no, there's no denial. They look for profit. The politicians are corrupt. The bureaucrats are corrupt. They are making into policies. They're making policies that will help benefit them, not the builders. And if we are going to have self-redevelopment, here the common man, the aam janta, the middle class who is redeveloping his own building, they will be seeing to it that पर वो बहुत कम तादाद है. So how will they impact policy?
790 are much more than we have impacted policy. The government has made a law.
Yes.
because we went in large numbers to them, we showed them, they made a law. Na? We have impacted policy already. आगे की बात नहीं है, ये ख्वाब नहीं बताते चुनाव जैसे कि हम आपको ये करके देंगे. हमने already policy impact किया है. We have told them that if you don't do it, 790, do you know that in my 20 buildings which I have completed, what is the total turnover? 4,800 crores. Who has done that? Nondescript, faceless middle class has raised that kind of money and they have got it. They are getting pension of 20 to 30,000 rupees every month from their self-redevelopment.
From the corpus that they have kept.
From the corpus that they have kept. This is a silent revolution. I don't publicize it because I don't need to. I don't have an air-conditioned office where I meet people. I don't charge any society 1 rupee for the help that I give to them. 1 rupee. No society has ever paid me anything, neither do I. I do this pro bono because I want somebody who wants to create a revolution can't expect personal gains out of it. And this revolution is happening. It's not only in Mumbai, it's happening in Thane, it's happening in Kalyan, it's happening in Dombivli, it's happening in New Bombay. In Pune now there are 1,000 societies which are ready to do it. So it is picking up. And this was a model which was my brainchild, not taking Wilbur Smith's idea and saying I did it. I conceived the scheme of self-redevelopment, and now I was campaigning earlier, keeping my fingers crossed. Now it has been successful.
Absolutely.
And people are doing it. 20 buildings are completed, 40 buildings are at various stages. Some have completed 5 floors, some have completed 790 in Mumbai itself are have passed the resolution. This is much more than all the builders put together.
But is it a task to convince housing societies, or housing
Of course
societies
it's
are
a
easily
task.
getting convinced?
There are no builders have their people there. वो बोलते हैं अरे जाने दो यार हमारे पास आएगा तो तुमको 5 करोड़ मैं दे दूँ. नहीं ज़्यादा नहीं. लोगों को कम मिले लेकिन तुमको ज्यादा मिले. चेयरमैन सेक्रेटरी को दे ब्राइब द चेयरमैन सेक्रेटरी कमिटी मेंबर्स कि तुमको ज्यादा देगा. तुम उनका क्यों सोचते हो? तुम अपना सोचो ना. तुमको 5 करोड़ वैसे कहाँ मिलेगा? सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट में मिलेगा तो सबको जो कॉर्पस मिलेगा वही तुमको मिलेगा. अरे तुम तो इलेक्टेड हो. हवा भर जाती है सर के अंदर कि मैं इलेक्टेड हूँ तो मैं कुछ लॉर्ड फॉकलैंड हो गया. तो वो उनको ब्राइब करते हैं बिल्डर्स. आई मस्ट कन्फेस अ बिट. आई वर्कड for a while in the corporate world.
Yes.
And I worked for some builders.
Yes.
And the top builders, corporate builders in the country. So I spent 7-8 years working with the builders. So I've seen exactly how this operates and how the people come to, यार मैं इतना लोगों को आपके पास लाता हूँ तो मेरे को ये करा दो, मेरे को वो करा दो. In one society, the secretary of a society was running a printing press and a prominent builder was there. He gave his entire balance sheets printing to him, which was worth some 50 lakhs of rupees every year, and made a 5-year contract to him. So he was bribed. There was a chairman whose daughter-in-law was a doctor, and this developer had an hospital in his in a colony which he runs. He immediately picked her up and made her the head in that hospital. So they not only bribe, but they employ your children, they employ your nearest kin, they do all that. So why would he then think about the rest of the people? He would think about himself.
But it also, self-redevelopment also demands a lot of time from the public.
Not at all. Not at all. Only 2 days in a week, 2 hours from the committee members is more than enough.
How do you generate rent? Again, I have very stupid questions, but
No.
you also have to give rent to the people who are staying there.
Of course you have to give rent for the people.
So where do you get that money from?
The moment you get your IOD, you get booking. From the booking money, you give rent. You have no problem for that. You have not left your house till you have got the booking. And the kind of booking that we get is unimaginable.
Because the prices are low?
Yeah, no, because the quality is better. In one of my societies, right opposite the street, just 20 feet away, is a big developer's project. We thought would be competing with them and we may have to give it at lower price. We have sold at 4,000 rupees per square feet more than them in self-redevelopment. And we have sold all our things. Their flats are still to be sold. So,
how and why?
because a developer, as an architect and a professor in planning, I can tell you that from first year I train my students as to what you should not do in a plan. The developer does exactly what we teach the students not to do. Because in planning, what the developer does is takes the map of the land, leaves minimum open spaces as required by the municipal corporation. What is left is your building. And then shove in the flats. Whereas when I design for a society, I ask the people what their requirement is, make the flat first and then put the flats together.
Okay.
So, if any of my student takes a brochure of a builder and copies it in his paper, he gets 10 out of 100. He fails. So, what we have been teaching students, I've been teaching for 35, 40 years. Please don't do this in the name of planning. Builder do exactly the same thing. Wrong planning. So, better planning, better quality of construction and timely completion without giving power of attorney to the builder.
You know, there's a lot to talk because self-redevelopment is something that is picking up. Many societies are coming up and talking on this specifically for a very simple reason because, you know, everyone wants a house that they demand. And also it also solves our one problem that if many self-redevelopment societies do take place or do occur, the policies will have to be made to accommodate them. So probably that will help us save Mumbai, sir. Thank you. Thanks for being here and telling us a lot of things. We know we have a lot to discuss. We will soon catch up some other day too.
Thank you.
Thank you.